Hey guys, Dr. Prometheus here. Welcome back to some more of our White Sox franchise here. Been doing a little scouting. Looks like we got Brett Koufax. Is he related to Sandy Koufax? I don't know. We're gonna say he's related. But looking at a couple of these guys, it's a lot of pitcher heavy, as in every year kind of the pitchers are always on top. So we've kind of looked around at other positions. Richie Plank here at center field. We have a big hole here. Yes, we have Luis Robert, but we're likely going to trade him by the end of the season. And I think that's going to be something that we're going to have to look on the infield. Freddie Castro, yes, we do have a shortstop as well, but we can put him elsewhere. But we do have a hole at third base. I don't think Bobby Dahlbeck will be playing permanently. I think he's more suited as a role player than anything. But at this point in the season, we've played 27 games and we are 10-17. Maybe a little snapshot there of how we're doing in the calendar. But Andrew Benintendi has been not doing a great job. 19 hits at 104 bats, batting a 183. Not great. However, there is a little bit of the green flag down at AAA. Noah Schultz and Hagen Smith are both performing decently well at this point. Not the greatest in ERA, but they are winning some games. So we do have some prospects that can come up in that. So we're going to go in with a pitching lock with Luis Robert. Now, the sound of this first part of the video, unfortunately for the recording, I don't know why it does this sometimes, but it is a little messed up, so you won't hear as much of the game sound. And as we go further into the next episode, I'll be turning that up and we should be fine. So we're taking on Jeffrey Springs and the Oakland Athletics. And this one, I think they're playing in Sacramento, so we'll have to see what we can do with their stadium. But the first one, we do strike out there with 2 outs. Playing a little outfield here, we see the speed of Luis Robert making a play there, hip catch. And we do have some more batting. Runner on first. We give this a high fly ball, easily playable in right. I'm not hitting as well as I have been in previous games, but we'll have to figure it out. A short one. Good jump there by Robert to get that one. Top of the 6th, runner on first. 1 out. We're going to put this over, and a great play by the second baseman. We run that out. Fielder's choice. And then a 1-2 count. Benintendi grounds it right to first. And that will end your inning. Top of the 9th. We are up first, and we're chasing that slider. Not even close to the plate, and Mason Miller gets himself a strikeout. Going to extra innings here. And this is where it gets kind of wild. So we are going to take this one and we are going to throw this to third. It is player lock, so you have the whole mechanical button portion for a perfect throw. And we get the runner out from second. Now, you might say, I want to see more of that as we have a high fly ball. We got good contact with this one, but it's just shy of the track. And you were thinking that last one, well, why didn't you show a replay? It's because we have yet another one. This is why I said this gets a little silly sometimes. So we're going to throw this into third. Another great throw. And, well, we're going to see a little bit of camera angle on this throw, because it is a banger. So thrown right in. Some of the camera angles, especially this one, is just so good. And that will be the show. Just so good. So top of the 13th. 2 outs, 2-2 count. We get this one, and I thought it might drop, but just a little bit too much carry. So when we come back into the 14th, we will have a shot. But guess what? We have another play at third. Another one. We hardly get that one off, but yep, there it is. 3 throws from center field and getting them out. So we're going to start Benintendi. Well, hey, he brings us home. At least we take a 1-0 win and a 1-0 lead, and that will end up being our win. Of course, we are going to have one more play in the outfield because it's the last out. 3-2 count. It's going to be right over to Andrew Vaughn, and that will end the game. I just had to put this in there because of the center fielder place. It's crazy. Showing off his arm. Benintendi, though, not hitting very well, and we were hoping some of these longtime vets can do something. It's not always going to happen, but we need some good role players. We've had some issues, though, with Perez not pitching well, so we are going to put in Mike Clevenger. Kai Bush is the one that is typically out here as the 5th in the rotation. He is still injured out for another month or so. So Mike Clevenger, he's been pitching well out of the bullpen. So we're going to start him out here. His first batter going against Christian Yelich, playing actually DH for the Brewers. And that will be a ground out there. 3-2 count against Sal Frelick. And Sal will be sitting back on the bench after that strikeout. With William Contreras. High fly ball deep into left. It has a lot of carry, but it will not be over the wall. Warning track catch by Luis Robert as we go in to the bottom of the first. Tauchman here. A leadoff single and just rockets that right by a diving defender. And it'll be a leadoff single. 3-2 count with Luis Robert batting second. Pitch is down, and we are just staring at that fastball. Down, but in the corner, and that will be a strikeout. Benintendi up next. He's going to sky this out in the infield. Picked up by the shortstop. And we are easily not going to get this run home at this pace. Andrew Bond, 4th. High fly ball deep into center left. Just shy of the warning track and easily playable out in left center. So back to Clevenger, top of the second here, and he's going to let this one ride. It's Rhys Hoskins off the wall, and he's going to go for 2. And he will get in for a lead off double. Clevenger trying to get out of this jam. 0-2 count with 1 out already, and Joseph Ortiz swings on that off-speed slider, and it'll make it a 1-2 count going to the next batter as we get him, and we work out Turing swinging and a miss of that high fastball. Later in the third, though, Sal Frelick, he puts this out in right field. A little bit of a revenge for striking out in the second inning, but, well, he gave that a ride. And now it is 2-0. Remember, we had a little magic, though, previously in some of those games. Maybe we'll have a little bit more magic here. Maybe. Is Joey Gallo coming out here, batting DH, and that's going to be a nice base hit to the middle. A little bit, remember, I'm not sure if the rules are in this as they are in the MLB. I know you can't have a completed shifted outfield or infield. But here's Tauchman, though, right to the shortstop. I think what they have in the game is he can't pass second base is the key. As opposed to, I think it's the same thing in the MLB in real life. So that has adjusted. Lose some base runners on in the third. We go to the top of the fourth here. Here is Bryce Turing. He's going to put one down the line. Tauchman just does not have the speed, and that's barely fair. It will be a ground rule double, so it prevents the man on first from scoring. Going here, Eric Haas, and he's going to have one, and Montgomery has no chance to get that. And that will empty the bases as a 2 RBI single. Andrew Mosterio, strong hit up the middle. Robert's tempting him to run on that one, but it's going to be runners on second and first. Christian Yelich now up. Going to be a high fly ball. Benintendi is there, and that will end your inning. 2 more for the Brewers, as it's not looking great. We only have 2 hits through 4 innings, so actually through 3 innings at this point. But Benintendi, bottom of the fourth, gonna lead it off with a great hit out in left center. And that will be pushing for 2, and Benintendi will get right in there for a lead-off double. Trying to get something going here. Luis Sosa with 2 outs now after not too great at bats. This one's hit deep into left, and it's over the diving or jumping center fielder. And now Sosa bats one in, and it is 4-1. The bottom of the fourth, still 2 outs though. Is that one a great hit in just trying to make a play out in center? I thought he was going to make that play, to be honest. I was looking at like, really, the AI is going to troll me like this. He's going to make that play, but it's an off-speed pitch. Looked like right over the middle of the plate. Here's Josh Rojas going in right down the middle, and that is just over the glove. We are not going to challenge this throw home, and well, properly we shouldn't have. It would have been an out. Joey Gallo here looking, and he makes great contact. Unfortunately, this one is just a chopper. Gallo's looking pretty good for our DH, so we might retain him if we can going into next season. But here's Rhys Hoskins. He missed one earlier in the game off the wall. Well, this one's a no-doubter. 2-run shot out in left field, and that will likely seal the deal if this continues. So with this franchise, we're not going to be playing a lot. Like if it's a blowout game like this, we'll eventually go over and do a little simming, which we will do now. So it's 6-1 at this point. Martin Perez is out on the mound, and well, it's not going well for him either. And it is a 9-1 game, just like that. Just like that, a 9-1 game. I think eventually this goes to a 10-2 game. We do score 1, but however, Mitchell hits a solo home run to make it 10, and then Rojas gets an RBI single. So bouncing around, here's some situations we're going to be seeing. We're going to be bouncing around with those as well. So these first couple of years, at least the first year, I want to get through in a couple of innings. But here, Luis Sosa, it just likes to put it in left center this time. We don't have the center fielder missing. Matt Thies here, backup catcher, just skies it up. I'd be just as angry if you sky up. A great pitch down the middle. One more batter up, and we'll see who it is. It's Bobby Dalbec. Looking here, right down the middle, and we miss it. A 100 and... Well, actually, I was going to say 101, but that's a 100-mile-an-hour fastball. An easy day for Milwaukee. Going against our series in KC, it's the top of the ninth. Luis Robert here. The runner on first does strike out. Trying to win this game, Benintendi. Can we get something here? And that's going to be a single. So we do get another base runner on a 3-2 count. Double play is open there. Andrew Vaughn just has to avoid it. And the pitch there is inside, and we get a walk. The 101 fastball too. Here's Bobby Dalbec. We switched around the rotation, the order to try to get something, and this one is skied out in shallow right, just behind first base. And it's 1 out to win this one, and it's Luis Sosa. Had some good tries, and well, this time will not be one of them as he swings and misses, and KC takes one from us. Like I said, we are not the greatest team or a good team by any means. And then later on, a couple weeks later, Luis Robert goes down with an injury. I believe here was a broken shin. So without him for a while, it hasn't been great. We've fallen to 39 and 55 at this point. It hasn't been great. We're going to have the draft in this episode as well, so stay tuned for that one. But this next game coming up, Kai Bush coming off an injury. We've given him some bullpen time. It is time to actually see him start a game as our 5th rotation guy. But first, we're going to look at the injuries here. Corey Lee went down with a fractured wrist. He's been out. Oh, he'll be out for another month and a half. And there it is, a broken leg for Luis Robert. So it means we had to call up one of our catcher prospects. And I mean, the way Corey Lee is playing, I mean, it's likely he may or may not be on the team, but Luis Robert was batting at 240 before he got injured. I mean, that's how we were winning games before, but at this point, unfortunately, it is not how we are winning games now. Here's Kai Bush. Looking at him, he's a 66 overall, see potential. Does not have a year left yet in MLB service. Age 25. He did play 17 innings last season before he was shut down off an elbow injury, I believe it was, for that. But we're going to be at home playing the Cleveland Guardians, who have 56 wins. And here is Kai Bush. His bullpen time, 2.14 ERA and 21 innings pitched, been pretty good. Has lost a couple of games because we've just not been great on offense. First batter, Stephen Kwan, and he is looking at an off-speed outside corner for a strikeout. Daniel Schneemann out here, and he's going to put it over to shortstop. This is a player lock, so of course the manager will pull us when he feels necessary. Jose Ramirez, inside corner, does not get all of it. That's playable out in right. So a clean first inning for Kai Bush on his return to the rotation. And we go to the top of the fourth, 1 out. 0-1 count inside Jose Ramirez again. Pitching him inside, we've had a pretty good pitching ability going inside, outside. But here's Johnsky Knoll, and we hang this one. And that is a no-doubter out in left. Out in the bullpen, and that ties the ball game. That's one thing we have to do, and remember, our location on our pitches is not going to be exact because we are going by the skills of the player more than anything. Just pick a location and allow the actual ability of the pitcher to come together. Messing with some camera angles here, trying to get a good one so Kai Bush's head isn't in the strike zone, but here is an automatic double to Carlos Santana. And then I didn't like anything, so Kai Bush's head's going to be in the strike zone still. But this is a high fly ball into shallow right. The runner will challenge this. It's going to be thrown in, and it's going to be a big play, and he got him. I don't know how he got him with that animation, but there is a good throw, and it remains a 1-1 game, but we return it in the top of the 6th. We have one more run scored. As Kwan gets that one on and after a walk. Jose Ramirez over to second and triggers the double play there. Still though, the opportunity to score and tie up the ball game. It is 2 outs here. Going to Johnsky Knoll, and Johnsky Knoll out in center field. That will be playable, and that will end your inning. Getting out of the jam there, working through it, and hey, we get through it. James Karenchik does come in for us, and well, yes, he does it. He blows the game as 2 more runs are scored. Actually, 3 more runs are scored between the 7th and the 9th inning. And the Guardians take this one. Unfortunately, Kai Bush doesn't get his first win as a starter back in the rotation. So here we go into the draft. Now, I didn't play franchise last season, so some of the things are new to me that were in last year's game. But also this year's game, we've had some new stuff as well. So bear with me. It took me a couple times to kind of cut this. And also, it's going to take me a couple drafts to get this right. So George Hiller is the #1 overall pick to the Nationals. Number 2 is going to be another pitcher, Thomas Slater, going to the Angels. So back-to-back pitchers. Obviously going to be one that we kind of figured at this point. And there is another one, Anthony Napier, going over to the Mariners. So only the first 3 are showcased right there. Almost said shadow case, but showcased there. As I'm looking at this, I'm thinking maybe Rojas is the next one, but who do I really have the ability to get? And it's Ricky Sheets, so another starting pitcher taken at 4. Was kind of seeing who would be there. There's your first actual non-pitcher, Juan Salcedo. I kind of liked him. He would be a next year starter. Winston Locke in center field, and that's what I kind of concentrated more, was someone to play center field. And my next two picks that I was going to make are there. And then my backup pick to all of that on top of it, not great overall though, Winston Lopez. He would take a couple of years to develop in that, so he wouldn't be an instant guy to come in. And Hal Santo, I saw him as something that could come in. And then the Reds, one pick before us, take Richie Plank. So I was looking at it, is the guy that was going to pick here at 10 that I suggested might be here would have been Richie Plank, and he was taken one pick before us. Luckily though, we get 4 minutes to decide. I'm clicking through, looking at Ken Don, looking at Perez, looking at a couple of these guys, Eduardo Rojas, Free Castro, and I just don't see anyone that I'm like, this is the guy I want here. Plank would have been the guy, the man that's I definitely would have pulled the trigger here on. But at the end of the day, we go with Freddie Castro. Here is our first round pick. I don't like the greatest. Like, I was just so torn on this first round pick. Like, Ken Don would start at a lower overall, will take more time to kind of develop. But I was looking for someone that could come in the next couple of years. Then he had Garrett Steele, but his potential is not the greatest. And we're looking at another pitcher that still has a B potential around what we already have. Now, Freddie Castro did have a great upside, but I was really looking at his overall 60 to 71. He could play next year or the year after. So we do that. So we see Eduardo Rojas is taken there. Brent Koufax, who was hoping to go into the second round. Ken Don is another one we saw there. As we go through, Portelis Clark, and unfortunately, we do have the first round pick. Remember, the first pick in the second round. Remember, the lottery only applies to the first round, and after that, it goes by record from the second round on, besides some extra prospect picks with that, which we're hoping to come back with next season. I didn't like a lot of players, only 2 that were left up as scouting, so we're going to take a closing pitcher here, Robert Michel, and I think he's probably our best pick. On paper at this point, he will likely be. We'll have to see the ratings at the end. And then from here, third round, I don't necessarily like the fact that I've scouted more harshly towards the first because we had such a great pick, but we're going to go with Jesse Cortez here in the third. I was looking at the potential. It was the highest potential, but also a great overall as well. Here's Roderick Rankin. Again, a high potential, but at the end of the day, maybe not the highest overall to start with. He'll take a couple of years. Then we need a more rotation in, well, actually more relief pitching. So there's Sindler. So looking at Schultz, though, I feel like at this point, both of these guys could come up and play. It is All-Star Week, and Schultz is in the Futures game. So there is one more other guy, center fielder. His name is actually, it's Braden Montgomery. So we have 2 Montgomerys. He's the other All-Star from our team. Here we go. We're going to go into some All-Star showcase with Noah Schultz getting that nice off-speed pitch down. And then another one. That one hits the ground, but still playable over at first to get the strikeouts. Now, Schultz is a guy who's like 6'7". That's why he's so just lanky, and I did not know he was actually that tall. We give up a single there. With James Tibbs up, that's going to be high into center, and we get through the first inning of our fun AL Futures time. Charlie Condon coming in. That's going to be a base hit. We don't have the greatest time with Schultz in the second inning, unfortunately. Now with 2 on, though, showing and working through this, Matt Shaw. We're starting to see some guys that are in the MLB in real life. Matt Shaw on the Cubs hitting absolutely great and playing great at third, as that one is over. And I'm watching this play instead of covering first. I like to watch plays I need to do my job at first. And the next batter, and that's a fastball outside corner up and in the zone, and that will end our time in the All-Star game. So 2 innings, and we do give up 1. Now I'm looking for around the trade deadline what we can do with Luis Robert. I went through and I suggested a trade. I got one in particular, but I wanted to look at the actual rating of these guys before I make this trade. So for Luis Robert, the Rangers are going to give up Eskiel Duran, 25 years old, potential to be 76, batting .269 right now. Only has 3 years of MLB service at 25. The other one is Evan Carter. He's 22 years old, 72 overall, B potential, and he looks good as well. So 2 young guys who can come in and develop and be stars. And then they asked to have Andrew Benintendi back because one of them, I think Carter, was their backup left fielder. So we're going to dump $22 million in salary in, well, the Rangers are in a playoff push, and we do get 2 great young players that could develop into something. We're looking for potential here, and we're playing the Phillies, and we are going to see the first game with these guys in White Sox uniform, and it is a fun time. I'm really excited about this trade. Yes, Luis Robert is a great player, but also we're going to showcase Drew Thorpe. The 108 innings pitched, a 4.0 ERA, not great in the wins, but that's mainly because we're not playing good ball. But you don't play ball when you put a sweeper over the plate like that, and that is crushed by Brian Scott for a solo shot. So yeah, I can't do that. I can't do that because they will get you every single time. Some of the camera angles though, when you hit after you hit a home run, after you do all that great stuff, it's great. Here showing a little bit of good stuff by Andrew Vaughn, and then getting Schwarber to stare at that fastball up and in. We're going against one of the best players in the National League. Aaron Nola has 15 wins and 4 losses. And right here, Ezekiel Duran, solo shot in his first at bats as a White Sox. Okay, we love it. 7th of the year. And this could bode well. A great trade that we could have possibly made. He has some good speed as well. And here it is. It is right down the middle, just about waist high, and that's an easy play. Here's Colston Montgomery batting second. He's going to put one out in left. For now, he's competing as one of the top 3 rookies in the AL. You see that's 1 right now. Here's Andrew Vaughn putting this behind first. Good play there at the stands there. Evan Carter, the other guy we traded in, batting 5th here. 2-2 count with 2 outs, and that's unfortunately is an easy play at second. So it's Ezekiel Duran in his first at bat in a White Sox uniform, going yard. And you love to see that. All right, top of the second, 3-2 count to Max Kepler. And there's how you're supposed to do a sweeper, down and in the zone. Top of the third here, 1 man on first, and Bryson Scott making us pay yet again with a good single. With 2 men on still. Johan Rojas going right side. Tachman will have the speed. He will have the speed in that one, make the play. Runner does advance over to third. Bryce Harper now. And Bryce Harper, that one Tachman can't get to, and that will score 1. The throw in will to be to the cutoff man Vaughn. I'm not sure if that would actually have gotten home plate, but that makes it a 3-1 game. Kyle Schwarber now. This one, Dolbeck plays it incorrectly, and Schwarber gets himself a base hit. Gotta play those weird hoppers. Here's Amundo Sosa, and we walk him to put bases loaded. with 2 outs. Actually, the bases were already loaded, so that actually walks in a run. 3-2 count again, and this time we get Wilson fishing inside. It was a ball, but the damage is already done. It is 4-1. Harper scoring 2 and then a walk. Next is Bobby Dalbec, hit deep into right, and that one's in the stands. Then we cut it in half. It is 4-2 Bobby Dalbec. He has some good power, but at the end of the day, he just needs to be more consistent. And that is something he is just not. All right, here's Evan Carter coming out with 2 on in the bottom of the third. It'll be a base hit. We do send the runner home, and he will edge it in. Tachman, that'll make it a 4-3 game. Joey Gallo now here, and God, that's a good pitch inside. Had to protect the plate though, and 1-2 counts, and that will end your inning. Bottom of the 5th here, Andrew Vaughn up the middle for a 2-out base hit. We are working the counts, which is nice to see. So here's Evan Carter. Chance at redemption. Hit hard into center field, and that is easily playable. Good contact though. Good contact. Now Duran with the bases loaded in the bottom of the 6th and just grounds it right at Nola, able to make the play at home and first for the double play, and that is a bit unfortunate. Top of the 7th here though, Shane Smith. That's a fastball up and just over the plate. Bryson Scott. Oh, it's Stott, not Scott. It's Stott. S-T-O-O-T. Stott. Well, that really puts it on the back leg. We're going to go into this whole simulation, and it gets worse. Shane Smith giving up 2 more runs. The 7-3 game, and it will end as an 8-3 game here. It was within reach, but, well, Wilson scoring more runs, Stott scoring more runs, and we just don't have the bullpen to stay with the high level teams. So we had an actual trade ask for Tachman at one point, and I looked at his stats. He's actually one of our best hitters at this point. And so that's why he was getting a lot of trade looks with a lot of teams. And so I decided to look through what anyone would give us, and I saw this one with Ben Joyce. 7-2 overall, B potential, 24 years old, good bullpen arm. Not doing great this season, but he could develop into something. So I was thinking, okay, the Angels might be looking at something here. Joyce isn't playing great this season, kind of making his value kind of depreciate a little bit. And so we will make this trade. Tachman will be sent over the Angels for Ben Joyce and a good bullpen hand that we could develop in the future. Now, his walks per 9 aren't the greatest, and he's probably given up a lot of home runs and some hits at this, but his strikeouts have been going up, and he's generally in the upward direction. It's probably being a little bit gracious, but I think anything right now will upgrade our bullpen, and Ben Joyce is an upgrade no matter what in that. So let's look at our draft picks. We finally signed them all. Freddie Castro looking at a 79 overall potential. Roger Kaufman looks like a potential miss at a 66. At this point, not great. Robert Mitchell, though, a 94 potential at a closer. 85 for Cortez. Roderick Rankin, a 74. And then Peter Spindler, a 68. So while we didn't hit on that 2nd round pick, I think we hit on our 3rd, 4th, and 5th. So thanks for hanging out. Go and leave a like below, comment, and subscribe. We will have the end of the season in the next episode. Later, guys.